Hey, I'm making this video to present to you a new workshop I have developed to help you better work with invisible autism. This is a workshop I'm giving in French, and there's been a lot of demand for an English version of it. So we've now decided to offer you an English version. Invisible autism is highly prevalent. In fact, a recent study in Sweden in an outpatient clinic showed that up to 30% of all clients either met criteria for autism or had autistic traits. Autistic folks suffer not from being autistic, but they suffer from being invisible and from the way other people relate to them. Autism is just not as we see it. The most visible autism is actually not the most common. It is, in fact, autism with intellectual disabilities. But most autistic folks don't have intellectual disabilities. However, they function in very specific ways in three main domains. The first one is sensory domain. Sensations, perceptions are just more salient, more intense. They also function differently intellectually. They can be very focused on something, sometimes a little bit rigid in their thought, and they function very differently when it comes to relationships. And this is where most of the suffering comes, because of how their loved ones respond to their autistic ways of relating, especially when autism is invisible. Because autism is invisible, it is often missed in therapy, which leads to treatment failure. Treatment failure is, of course, disappointing for us as clinicians and very painful for our clients. Invisible autistic folks are often subject to misdiagnosis, which leads to treatment that aren't adapted to their functioning and treatment failure. In this workshop, I'm going to show you a new affirmative way of looking at autistic functioning. It's a little bit as if autistic functioning was equivalent to electric cars versus petrol cars. They're just different ways of functioning for cars. And it's very important to know that you have an electric car, because electric cars need starting points and they don't need petrol. In this workshop, I will show you how to better identify invisible autistic folks, conduct an exploratory interview with them to find out whether your clients could be invisible autists. And you will also learn how to promote very concretely optimal functioning in invisible autistic folks, as well as a healthy sense of self. Because, of course, when you grow up as an invisible autistic person, you're going to get bombarded with messages that you're not doing things right. You don't understand how things work. You're going to feel an alien. You're going to feel so different that your deepest sense of self is going to be affected. So in this workshop, you learn how to better see invisible autism, how to talk about invisible autism to your clients, how to identify it, and how to help invisible clients live rich and fulfilling lives. I hope to see you there.